Hey everybody, welcome to the First Alert Desk. Happy Friday to you all. If you've been tuning in at 2 o'clock throughout the week, you've seen that we've been bringing you a lot of college football content along with some high school football previews as well. No different today, but today we are showing you the first week of fall camp from the Alabama Crimson Tide. We heard from Kalen, DeBoer, the head coach there on Wednesday. The offensive coordinator, Ryan Grubb, spoke yesterday. And not too long ago, the defensive coordinator, Akeem Womack, spoke as well. You will hear from Kalen, DeBoer, and Ryan Grubb coming up here. So here is the latest from Alabama's fall camp.
Just obviously walked off the field, number one, as you'd expect. I mean, it's going to be high energy, and the guys will never feel as good as they feel today. So, it's no complaining, no excuses. It's moving forward. The bar's been set with how they operate today, and we move on to the next, and that's everything. So it's, what they eat, it's their treatment, it's paying attention to the details, and all the way through the rest of the day with our meetings, walkthroughs, whatever it might be. So looking forward to building on what we did today.
How did quarterbacks start?
I thought they were consistent. Met a couple explosive plays in there. A couple plays you can just see getting on the same page with a receiver type guy. It might not be a receiver, but tight ends, running backs, just little details. So I thought they were consistent, and love the demeanor, love their just command, the way they're into it. You can see the belief that the guys have in them. We talk about response. Someone's going to win a play every down, right? So there's going to be something when you're going against each other, and you just try to make that as game-like as possible. And so, what's the response? And that's a lot of football, and the momentum, getting it on your side and keeping it on your side. And there's going to be plays that don't go your way, but what's it look like? How are you coming together? We're identifying, leaders beyond the guys that we expect to be able to stand up and when needed and take charge. And so, but as a whole team, that's what it's got to be, and right now it's kind of an offense versus defense thing, so you're trying to at the same time build the belief and confidence in each other while you're really trying to ask the one side of the ball to just kick the other side's ass, all day. So
is there anybody who's starting camp on the sidelines either for injury or discipline reasons?
No, nothing for discipline. Just guys that are working into a couple reps. It's really nothing major. So it's more of just guys that we're trying to see. Danny Lewis, for example, would be a guy just making sure as we work into the physicality now and everything. It's been a long road for him for a couple of years, and so he's in as good a spot as he's been since really after the bowl game in 2024. And so, just trying to be careful with where he's at, making sure he can manage it. I thought he did a good job today. So there's a couple guys just like that.
Kalen, this team isn't picked to finish as high as maybe what this program is used to. Do you think the guys pay attention to that? And then over the past day or so, have you felt a sense of motivation to prove people wrong?
Yeah, we are definitely aware. Yeah, he did some nice things. It's good to see him out there flying around, and couple times you see what you saw from his high school highlight film, and so I'm excited to see him. And we're not in pads right now, so a lot of that is yet to be seen. But just execution, he's got to catch the ball well. I think he's got a really good head on his shoulders from what we've seen so far, and being able to be consistent that way, learn the offense when he gets in there and in the rotation with the running backs like he was today. He did his job.
What can players show you during these early period where there's no pads that they are ready to be counted on this season?
Yeah, I mean, communication, just over communicating. I think that shows how important it is to you to do the right thing, and also making sure your guy next to you, behind you, in front of you, that you're all on the same page. That helps with the attention to detail. Just a team that communicates is a team that is going to be a confident one down the road. And so that helps with our execution, and that's what it's about right now is executing, doing your job first, and just building that belief and trust of the guys around you that they're going to be where, they're supposed to be.
How do you think they communicated today?
Yeah, I thought they did a good job. I brought that up at the end of practice with them. It's one of the reasons why it was right at the front of my mind. Just I could see some guys being intentional. Maybe one or two guys I asked a little bit more out of. They were doing a good job. I want to be great at it. And, they did it. You could see that throughout the rest of the practice. They went above and beyond and wanted to make sure that they were living up to that standard.
There were a ton of new faces in the offensive line in the spring. How have you seen them sort of catch up with the learning curve?
Yeah, I thought today was I thought it looked a lot better and cleaner than what it did at the end of spring. Again, we don't have pads on, so it's really hard to tell. But I thought that from responsibilities and just, again, there's got to be a trust that exists. It isn't just doing your job. It's knowing that where's that next help? Where's that help coming from? Is the double team and the footwork and, being in sync. And, you can rep a lot of those things and make sure you're on the same page through the summer. And you can tell the guys have been working at that and really being intentional that way too.
What's kind of the message that you're giving these guys as they start falling?
Yeah, we just keep working. I mean, we've talked about working in silence since January, and these guys just doing their thing, not getting caught up in anything they can't control. We know what our goals are. We know what our expectations are. We've never shied away from that. We go attack the day, and the challenge for us right now is to continue to just become one. And that's been our theme here going into camp, is just uniting. It's 11 guys on offense, 11 guys on defense, special teams, but also as a whole program, just having each other's back. And so that's the challenge that we got to continue with so many guys in the program. I've been pleased with it, but we got to be great because there's some big time moments that are going to be coming our way, being with the schedule you have, and that's going to happen in college football. So we got to be ready, be prepared, know how we're going to respond. Well, you really, what you want is you want guys, you want the guy you're competing against to be at his best, right? That's what a great teammate does. And then you want to be at your best to, win that position, win that battle. And so, just talking to guys about not hoping the other guy fails and isn't at his best, because that doesn't help our team. And, having that, again, becoming one where what the team success is, it's because of you being and doing everything that you can and being elite, and wanting your teammate that you're competing against to be the same.
Will Sanders full go at this point?
Mm-hmm.
What's it like having him back?
Yeah, it's good. It's good having him back. And, guys that we have very few guys on the offensive line in particular that have the snaps in our program. And he's one of them. And, missing the spring, you could feel that a little bit. Again, just continuity. I'm not saying execution-wise, things like that, but just another guy that knows how things go, knows the operation, knows the offense. So it was good to have him back.
There's some guys who still kind of setting the tone energy-wise, leadership-wise in this first game.
Who?
Yeah.
Who are they? I would say, it's who you'd expect. I think we've talked a lot about, I think the guys that we took to media days, right? Bray, definitely. ZB does it. He's not as vocal, but, man, he's got this presence about him and this way, and it's just a great 1-2 punch there. I think those guys on defense have really brought along, others. I mean, Dijon. The experience in the secondary, that's kind of where it starts. That swagger, that's where it starts. And then with the new guys and, joining in with the returners in the front seven, you can see more of that building. Guys that played a lot of snaps for us in the past, add in some of the transfers who we expect to be also key performers for us, that, again, I think have done a great job of meshing. Probably is one of the words I'd use, just meshing with the rest of the group offensively. Ryan, our quarterbacks, I think they've been great. And I think there's been a slow, build. I mean, I think, again, a lot of it's through the work, and because that's what we've asked. But, Jackson Lloyd, I think you'd expect him and Michael Carroll, in the room, offensive line wise. And I think Will get there too, as he gets back and in full go. So, I think there's other guys that have just, again, stuck to the taking care of business. I see Caleb working, Marshall. I think Josh, has a presence when he's on the field. He's still kind of, like I said, with the defensive line transfers, fitting into his role, and does it with his play, maybe less or more so than with his talk. Running backs kind of probably the same way. Daniel Hill's had a great offseason, I think. And some of those guys right there just going about their business, going about their work, being leaders, and it doesn't always have to mean they have to be vocal. We're going to ask that out of them, but there's a progression to it, them taking care of their job and then bringing others with them.
Can you compare Jaden James and Nick Brooks, what you saw of them over the summer, and maybe what they need to do in the competition for the right tackle battle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think just being new, it's still just about being consistent, and I think they're really doing. I think they've come a long ways in that area. This spring, I would say, you can see what the potential was. You can see what they're capable of. I think each of them came into June or the end of May when we returned. There was definitely them coming back now, knowing what it feels like, what the expectations are, and I think both of them had great summers. I mean, they had great summers, both of those two guys. And so I'm actually interested, again, we didn't have pads on, but I'm interested to see the film today, specifically hone on guys like that and see what they did, see how they executed.
The difference between an Adrian Clem run all practice, like for the O-line, like what kinds of skills can you see out there? What was he kind of pushing for that?
I wasn't right next to him much today. I was kind of wandering around. Different coaches stand in different spots on the field, and so you kind of know where guys are going to be, and some of it's where the coordinators are going to be at, and the signalers, and I haven't identified and gotten next to Coach Clem a lot, but I think as far as the guys, our players, I like that they have a good. I think there's a confidence in that they're being coached well, that they're making the progression, that the work that they're doing on the side is paying off. I think they can feel that. The film, again, won't lie, and they'll be called out. I think that's what he does a great job of, but he also does it in a way where it's always teaching, it's always coaching, and, he'll push them. He'll do what you'd expect the elite offensive line coaches to do when it comes to demanding and getting after them. But he's also got this way of building camaraderie, which is obviously very critical for an offensive line as they continue to build confidence. Good. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Kalen.
What's up?
So yeah, quarterback-wise, what have you seen so far?
Just an extension of the spring and summer. Both guys are growing. I think the attention to detail right now is on the things that they know they got to work on. Each one of them has different strengths and weaknesses, but be very similar to timing last year, and that we've done every year back to 2021 at Fresno State. So same mechanics on that, and the guys will be getting equal opportunity and doing a good job.
What's the biggest area of growth you've seen from each of them in the summer?
The summer, I'd say Kalen did a better job taking care of the football in the summer than he did the spring. And then with Austin, I thought he was better on the run out of the pocket. I thought he really grew in that regard.
Last year you rotated the offensive line a lot. Is that something you plan to do this year, or you trying to find best five?
Best five. Now, we always, there's injuries, guys that got to move in and out, things like that, but certainly want to get the gel right away.
What are you seeing at the right tackle position with David James and Nick Brooks?
They've both done a good job. They battled back and forth in spring. Nick did a good job. We moved him around quite a bit. Javen really was just at right tackle. So seeing Nick in some different spots was really good. But both those guys, obviously Nick's massive, uses his size well. He's an incredible athlete for his size. And then Javen is probably one of the most savvy players we have up front. So I think both those guys are, getting their footing and trying to show demand, like this is my job. So they're doing a great job. Left guard, Will Sanders is back. It's been fun seeing him out there. We haven't seen Will for a little bit, full speed, because he had an injury in the spring. And then even, going through the summer, he didn't get a rep very much. So seeing him out there and building reps right now has been exciting because, I thought Will was a heck of a player last year as well. He's done a really good job. And then Mal has been a guy that just really has, grabbed on that spot, tough, smart, and he's an excellent communicator, really done a nice job. So I think it's going to be a heck of a battle there.
How close is it to knowing who the best five is?
I think we're a little ways off yet, if I'm being honest. I think we got some time here. We got a lot of banked reps, so we've seen all these guys, with the exception of Will. Most of these guys have been out there quite a bit, so I don't think it obviously is going to take all of camp, but you'd love that to sync up with your quarterback decision so that you can get some unity going into the game week.
How much more
What do you mean? The guys that have played here, you're saying? Oh, I mean, I think anybody that has experience year 1 to year 2 at Alabama, myself included, is you're just going to be a step ahead. You know, you come here and you know the expectations, you know what it feels like. And honestly, you get a little more excited, in my opinion. So I think those are the guys that are leading all the people and helping them understand how special this place is.
Last year we heard a lot about execution and communication in the running game. What have you looked at from a coaching standpoint, from schematics and sequencing, that you can improve the running game?
Simplify and do your best stuff. Don't get inch deep and a mile wide. Do what you're good at and be great at it. And Coach Clem has done an excellent job with, helping build that. Been between him and Rich Owens, been super excited working with those two guys and resurrecting the run game, and we will. What's the criteria for winning the? That's a good question. I think that you're still looking at the guy that's going to make the most plays. But part of that is understanding there's more than just catching the football. And the good part for us is I think we got 5 to 6 guys, especially when Noah gets back, that we can move around a lot of different spots. And it's always been one of the things that I think makes this receiving core special, and we've used in other places, that guys line up all over the place. Ryan, on the outside, Ryan in the slot, just moving these guys around. So I think one of the pieces is obviously having good command of the offense. Those are the guys that are easy to plug in almost anywhere. Yeah, I think the biggest thing about Clem is, that when you're looking at a position coach, you're like, does this guy got command, and is he a master teacher? And when I hear Clem at practice, it's always coaching points. Even if he's upset, not upset, it doesn't really matter. There's a coaching point. There's a process going on. That's what has always impressed me. There's an immediate answer, there's a solution, and the guys know what that is, and they can move on quickly.
How can Josh Ford impact the blocking with the tight end room?
Awesome. Ford's been great, man. His mindset, demeanor, how he works. I just think he's a big guy, right? You're talking about 6'5.5", 270 plus pounds, and he's just a force in there, the Y position. But the guy that we're excited as well is Danny Lewis. Getting that guy back, you got 2 real Ys that are, proven blockers, guys that can do it in this league. And then you got Caleb Edwards. I mean, you got 3 guys that are long levered players that are going to be impact players in the tight end room. Just let him play. He's out there. He's cleared. Our medical staff, from Jeff to our doctors, have been absolutely amazing. And then, Danny Lewis might be one of the best stories of camp. Just watching him and the resilience that kid has had to be able to come back out and compete at this level has been – it's really inspiring. I mean, for coaches too.
What's been your impression of EJ?
EJ's young, super explosive, runs out over his toes, has good balance. He's thick with the ball. He runs physical. He runs bigger than he is. He's got speed in the long end. He's just got to learn the game. He's got to learn how to practice full speed all the time. He's a great kid. He wants to do it. He loves being here. He's an Alabama guy. But he's physical. He's tough. He's got great hands. Sky's the limit for him. But he's got to learn the game. He's got to know how to practice, and he's got a good shot.
What do you think of the way the running back room stands right now?
Daniel Hill, is a guy that I think people are going to be really impressed. The transformation that, Daniel's had with his body. He's been a really lean in the 230s, low 230s, even in the high 220s. He runs different. He's got good agility. He's got great command of the offense. Super intelligent, excellent pass blocker. I think it starts with him. AK's been making a ton of progress. Kevin Riley, coming back from a broken jaw, has put the weight on. He's explosive with the football in his hand. We talked about EJ and then TB is Brown's made an impact as well. So I think we got a lot of weapons in that room. It's highly competitive. The guys know that every rep counts, and they've been prepping that way.
If memory serves, you named Ty the starter after the first scrimmage last year. Do you anticipate needing both scrimmages to make that decision this year?
Yeah, I think we probably will. Just younger guys, making sure we got every ounce of data we need. But if it's the first scrimmage, it's the first scrimmage. If we feel good about that after that point, then we'll name that. Obviously, the longer your team can have their starter name, the better off you are. We don't worry about the other team and who they know it is or isn't. We just want to make sure we make the right decision.
Is Monday the first day in pads, and how much anticipation is it?
No, tomorrow is. Tomorrow, yep.
What kind of a truth teller is it to get into pads?
Oh, yeah, it's always been it's a science versus fiction books, right? I mean, we're out there whacking each other around. I'm really proud of how our guys, no pads, we practice physical. And we've done a good job on both sides of the football, understand how to play, you know, with physicality, with no pads on. So I think tomorrow they're going to be popping. You know, I feel there's already been a different energy in this camp, even compared to last year with some veteran guys. I think, you know, you attribute that to a lot of open jobs and competitive young players.
You let us know about Jackson pretty early.
Yeah.
Have you seen him kind of embrace that role of being left tackle and kind of improve himself physically?
Jackson's really stoic, you know, to the point where you wonder about, like, what's this guy's confidence level and things like that. And I think that's one of the things that I've seen with Jackson, even in camp so far, is just the confidence is starting to come with his ability. He's a super talented guy, big, physical, you know, crazy athletic. But I think the savvy he's already playing with at the age he's at already is impressive. His communication skills are still getting better, but yeah, he's done a really good job of that. Thanks, everybody.